You had chronic disease for 16 years, but within 18 months of finding EFT tapping, you were better. What was your body telling you for 16 years? And then how did you finally start tuning into it? And then what happened?
I had a surgery that I went unconscious for 2 days, and I come out with my lungs collapsed, my organs failing, so it didn't go very well. Anxiety is actually old programming you're running. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just running program from an older version of yourself.
It is absolutely crazy how it feels, even compared to the other side, the left side. So my right side feels just loose, like it's just nothing there. And then like my left side's just a little tight from training, but I can literally feel the difference between each side. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the True Form podcast. In today's episode, Sophia and I dive deep into anxiety, why it happens, how it's caused, and how EFT can actually help you reduce those stressful, anxiety-inducing moments. Sophia was kind enough to run through a quick little session with myself on this episode, but I've actually clipped it and put it on YouTube as its own little episode because it's very visual. You need to actually be watching along and tap through the meridians as you're going to learn about in this episode. So go check that out. However, if you are struggling a little bit with anxiety or stressful moments, Sophia actually has a 30-minute free session that you can do on her website. I'll link that in the description so you can check that out. Also, a massive thanks to the legends at Lumaflex for sponsoring this episode. Without sponsors like them, I would be struggling to make this podcast thing work and find people like Sophia to help me and you find our true forms in this crazy life. So I'll tell you why these products are so amazing and how I use them later on in the episode. You had chronic disease for 16 years, but within 18 months of finding EFT tapping, you were better. So what do you think was happening what was your body telling you for 16 years? And then how did you finally start tuning into it? And then what happened?
So let's address, I guess, as we mentioned before, what disease is. Disease is unresolved emotional pattern. The cells don't communicate very well, so there's blocked energy, and the body cannot repair itself and become whole. So having worked in medicine, my mom, you have an issue, you go to the doctor, they do something or they give you something and it heals. And that wasn't the case for me because the actual final blow for the condition started due to a traumatic experience, which I'll discuss in a second. So after 16 years being exhausted trying to treat this, and having enough medical knowledge, because my degree is in epidemiology, I said there has to be another way. Unfortunately, it took me that long, but it did. So the body was running a survival program. It just got activated. So prior to the surgery, like everybody else, I had the average stresses, maybe a little extra, but pretty much average stresses. But I was extremely healthy. I was a runner. I was pretty fit. And I had some physical symptoms. And they recommended surgery and I intuitively knew that they were wrong. But they put me in so much fear, giving me no option. The surgery was done right then and there. So it's not like I went home and I could think about it. They basically told me I had a few hours to live, and if I don't do that, there's not a chance.
How old were you when that happened?
40. This is 21 years ago. I'm 61 now.
Wow. Okay.
And I spoke up, but they said, you're not a doctor. And so I kind of caved in, and I was expected to die after the recovery. Things went wrong. But somehow I lived. It took me, I was 23 days in the hospital. And then I kept on asking the same question. How can a body that's so healthy overnight be expected to die? And I kept on saying your body gave out. And that just never made sense. So I refused the follow-up treatments, which was to remove organs. So I ended up with an exploratory surgery, which was very traumatic because a lot of things went wrong. But thank goodness I did not remove any organs. And for all my treatments and all the doctors I went to over 50, they all wanted me to remove organs. Some wanted to give me medications for autoimmune conditions. I was smart enough to refuse them, though I kept on suffering along the way because nothing was clearing the symptoms. So I finally said, well, this method is not working. And I started studying other work. I had read Dr. Joe Dispenza, but I didn't take him seriously when I first read him. And I found someone who tried to help me, and she basically says, I can't help you, I recommend you read Dr. Joe Dispenza again. And I decided to do so. But there was a missing piece. So everything made sense to me. It's like it clicked right away. What he said, why the body is not well, what can be done to be fixed. Little A lined up. I could recite everything from his books. The missing component was I didn't know how to master my emotions. And that was a big challenge for me. And that is when I explored various modalities. And I can tell you, I tried pretty much everything. 30 sessions of each, Psyche, hypnosis 30 seconds, the healing codes 30 seconds, just name it. Different healing modalities, tuning forks. Tuning forks do help, but I needed more support. 30 sessions. It was nonstop, but nothing was literally healing my body. And then I tried EFT. I even did EMDR. And EFT, I started not healing, but I started feeling better. I started seeing things differently. And then lined up with Dr. Joe's work, it started making sense. And I eventually I started meditating right away, but I couldn't sit still because his meditations are like an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and a half, the old ones. And so that is when I started seeing results. And then that traumatic hospital experience got reframed. The anger that I had towards them, the anger that I had towards myself, that I didn't listen to my inner voice because the results showed that I was right. Actually, after the exploratory surgery, then the body started healing. Actually, it just healed within a month period. So I was working on myself, but I was feeling better, but I wasn't seeing any results. And then the last month of the 18 months, the body just kind of healed. I felt, okay, I'm done with my meds. I'm done with my Xanax, which I was taking at the time. I'm done with my other meds. And I said I'm going cold turkey, and nothing happened to me. So I'm still alive.
Wow. And how old were you when that happened?
That was in 2021. So
okay, yeah. I want to dive into managing your emotions. That is a big topic. Like you said, it just governs everything. And I see it all the time, like not only in myself as well, trying to manage your emotions and how they actually come out and affect the world around you and your life. But so let's just go rewind a little bit and go back to what happened when you were 40. So what happened? Like you just went in for a checkup and then all of a sudden you're in hospital.
So I had abdominal pain, but what had happened prior to that, there was a personal situation that ended and I didn't know how to process it. So I was kind of stressed and I was having symptoms of throwing up and abdominal pain. But I did not have like any serious disease. And would just come once a month, but I was not very happy. For whatever, there was one thing that I like, so my emotional state was pretty bad. There were moments that I would think and I would say, I just want out. I just want out, which is what I used to verbalize. I can't feel these emotions. I just want out. So what did the universe give me? Gave me an experience that I'm going to be out. So I did not have literally anything physical with me. But when they did the checkups and the CAT scans, which some mistakes were done, They assumed I had something. I challenged it because I was working in medicine. I said, I don't match the age group. This happens to babies and people who are in their 80s. I'm 40, so you're wrong. And they said, who are you to tell us what you have? I said, that's my work. And so they kind of scared me, and I was feeling pain. But when the body can't, so physical pain is emotional pain not being felt, which at the time I did not know. And so the body was showing me my emotional pain that I didn't know how to process. So obviously I caved in, thinking I'm just going to have a surgery and come out. But I had a surgery that I went unconscious for 2 days, and I come out with my lungs collapsed, my organs failing, so it didn't go very well.
Far out. That's scary. So let's dive into managing your emotions, because like you said, that is a traumatic experience. I'm scared just hearing about it. So after that, talk us through the process of how you got to EFT tapping.
So after I've tried all the modalities, and I was reading Joe's work, and he says you have to manage your emotions, I looked at all the modalities that are possibly out there. I started some breath work. I did do some Peter Levine's work, but it was too slow, and I couldn't connect with the body. Actually, Peter Levine's work is excellent if you're a little bit more connected to your body. But I wasn't connected to my body, and given with all what happened, I wasn't. So EFT start working, but let's discuss what actually happens to the body first. So there's a trigger in the outer world. Whatever their event is, the first thing that happens to the body that most people are not aware of is a bodily sensation. So there's like a tightness, it could be a sting, whatever it is, it's a contraction, something in the body, but most people don't pick it up all the time. Then there's the emotion, and then the story comes, right? So the moment you have a thought, or the moment actually the contraction happens, the limbic brain produces chemistry. And that chemistry, they're neurotransmitters to neuropeptides, activates the hormones, and then whatever corresponding emotion, if it's anger, goes down your spinal cord, hits your adrenals, right? That energy gets stored in the body. People say out of sight, out of mind. No. The energy is produced. If you don't feel it to release it, it accumulates. And what is energy? What is emotion? Emotion is energy in motion. So that carries information. And so I would have these knots, I would have these tightness whenever I thought the hospital, whatever happened, and my body was accumulating all the stuff. And all I did is I verbalized my frustration without physically feeling it. And I was making my body worse, because what wires together fires together. So the more you speak about it, the more chemistry I was producing. I was literally poisoning myself with my own conversations or my own grievances.
My mind just goes to a lot of my clients at the moment. I have, like, pretty much every client has some sort of issue with their right arm, because everybody's at a desk using their mouse or computer with that right arm, and then they're stressed as well. So they almost go to work. It's that emotion of going to work, and they clench up on that side, and they're using that side. They're getting all their emails back and forth. It's like they're going to war with their computer, and they're tightened like this, and then they come and see me after work, and they're like, oh, my shoulder hurts and I can't do this. I'm like, well, we need to address that first before we even go any further, because like you said, there's just so much emotion caught up throughout the day, and then they try and work out, but they just can't move their body. So how does EFT work in with that?
So with EFT, the way I do it is a somatic modality. So first of all, I have them breathe, do a couple of breaths first. Why? You know from your own clients, the majority of your clients are in high beta mode. That's a high stress mode. And when the body is in beta mode, beta brainwaves is the correct word, the body cannot heal. So we have to be in a different physical state for the body to allow healing, and also to get inside. So I have them do a couple of breaths. I have them, if it's in a situation, let's say it's the arm, the right arm, usually there's also another component. The arm is symbolic of trying to grasp something in their life that they're not able to achieve. But I will start with the physical sensation. I have them breathe into it without the story, because the commentary to the story fuels more energy to it. And then the body, we can start tapping. So both the breathing and the physical act of tapping gives a signal to the body that the body is safe. The physical act of tapping changes your brainwaves when you do it properly. And you get the message, and that energy starts clearing. And what happens, I'm actually working with a paralyzed woman. She has started to walk without a cane. She's paralyzed from a surgery on the right side. And she's been able to do her arm up to here and go to here. And she just wrote her name for the first time, and it's legible. And this is because of emotional trauma. In her case, the trauma has been combination from the surgery, but personal experiences, not being able to move and escape. And the body took it literally. She can't move. She can't escape. And there's a lot of emotional release while tapping. And you get to verbalize your whatever it is that happened. We have certain sentences we use, and then to let it go. The ultimate goal is for the person to be able to release the emotion. That's the end result. So we acknowledge what it is that we're feeling, but being inside our body, because when we feel things, we feel it in our heads. We're talking heads. And that's what I was when I was before. And sometimes when I get highly anxious, I become a talking head. But then I regroup.
Can we just wind back a little bit? We keep using EFT like everybody knows what that stands for. Can you just explain what it is? And then for those that are just listening and can't see, can you just explain what you actually do in an EFT session?
So I'm a clinical EFT practitioner, which means evidence-based practitioner. That's what the clinical means. So it is a modality. It's a somatic healing modality that combines cognitive psychotherapy with physically tapping, doing actually acupuncture to the body without needles. You're physically tapping on the body's meridians, and I'll explain what the points are. And the core principle that all disease is unexpressed emotional blocks that the person wasn't able to process and release. And that gets stored energetically in the body, and the cells don't communicate properly. They lose their proper voltage. As a result, we get dis-ease. The body is not at ease. And once you start tapping, we know acupuncture works because it restores the electrical system back. Well, EFT does the same thing, but does two extra things. The act of tapping calms your nervous system down. If there was a tiger right here, I wouldn't be physically tapping. But when I'm very angry, let's say, and I keep on complaining all day, my body has activated the sympathetic nervous system. And people are not aware of it. So when I go on tapping now, the body says, okay, the danger is over. There's no tiger sitting right there behind me. It also, as we clear the emotion, it resets the amygdala, which is the fear that levels the fear in the brain. So that's what tapping does. So it's a combination of cognitive psychotherapy and tapping on the body, doing acupuncture without needles, and connecting to the body so the body can feel safe to release the emotions and restore its flow, the energetic flow. Because, as your job, that the body has an electrical system, and we have an electromagnetic field around our body.
So the meridians, can you talk about those, please?
Yeah, well, the body has like a highway, a super highway, an energetic grid that sends messages to different parts of the body. And that's actually where we're tapping. And when the person has disease, their electromagnetic field around their body, there's a plus sign here, and on our tailbone, there's a negative sign. That's how the toric field gets created. Their field creates distortions. And our job is to restore the energetic field around the body so the body can start repairing. The body, under the right conditions, knows how to repair itself. You fell off your bicycle when you were a kid. You didn't start looking on your knee. Oh, is it going to heal? Is it going to heal? You just knew naturally it's going to heal. But as we age, there's a lot of trauma that happens to us. And now when we fall, we get terrified if it's going to heal.
Yeah.
I'm sure you didn't think twice when you were 5 years old and you fell off the bike.
Yeah. It's, yeah, 100%. That's crazy. My experience with EFT, this was a few years ago, and then I come across your work and I was like, oh, I should get back into this again because I found it very beneficial. Like if people go back about 150 episodes, I actually go through an EFT tapping session with a previous guest, and it just releases so much because you are talking through it, the emotion, you're feeling it, and you're tapping at the same time. So those three connected. Again, if you go back and watch it, like it just releases all the energy. It's a very strange sensation. Like I said, since diving into your content, I'm like, oh, I need to get back into this and do a session with somebody. I've had these little red lights, the Lumaflex Body Pro, for a few weeks now, and it goes with me everywhere and it goes on me everywhere. I love putting this on my belly in the morning just to help my digestion get rolling. Any little niggles I've had from training the day before goes on there, a few rounds, and I'm ready to jump back into the gym. It's absolutely crazy how fast you can feel the effects of this red light therapy device. It comes with these amazing little straps that you can literally strap it to any part of your body, joints, limbs, anywhere. So anywhere you need a little bit extra recovery, it can do that. A couple of rounds of the red lights and you are good to go. And you can get access to Lumaflex Academy, where you can actually start learning about the benefits of red light therapy and how to use it properly so you can actually see the benefits in your body as well. So check out the link, lumaflex.com.au, use the code TRUEFORM and get 10% off your Lumaflex products. So where should people, obviously working with somebody like yourself for EFT tapping, but just say the person that's been sitting at their desk all day, they're stressed, that shoulder's tight, is there any simple things that they can just do
Absolutely.
to
So here
release
we
everything?
can discuss this. I'll have you as my guinea pig.
Okay.
So let's do, I'm going to give you like a 90-second version, and then we can talk about. We'll do 2 rounds of a 4-2-6 breath. So we inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6, but I want you to fill your belly. So let's just do that.
Sounds good.
So inhale 4, hold it, exhale slowly 6, hold for 2, and inhale one more time. Hold for 2, exhale for 6. Hold for 2, and as you have your eyes closed, I want you to scan your body, and without any story, while you're breathing normally in your belly, to tell me if there's a sensation that feels tight somewhere.
Yeah, I've got a tightness in my calf.
Okay, so I want you to keep breathing deeply, and imagine you're breathing and you put your awareness on your calf without any judgment. And then just see if you get a message, and if you don't get a message, let's just do a quick tap.
I still feel it there.
Did it give you a message?
It's just like pinpointing where the tightness is. It's like pulsing where the tightness is.
So even though there is this pulsing tightness in my calf,
there's a tightness pulsing in my calf.
It has a message for me.
It has a message for me.
And it wants to release.
And it wants to release.
And even though there's this tightness and I don't like it in my calf,
there's this tightness in my calf and I don't like it,
I acknowledge that I don't like it.
I acknowledge I don't like it.
And I'm open to letting it go.
And I'm open to letting it go.
And I'm safe right now.
And I'm safe right now.
I'm doing it very quick now just to see if you notice a difference. This wouldn't be normal EFT, but just go back to it, breathe into it. Is it a little lighter?
Definitely.
Okay. So because you didn't have anxiety, this is a perfect example for anxiety. So I would have you do that process and you would say, even though there's this anxiety, I am safe right now. Anxiety is actually old programming you're running. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just running program from an older version of yourself. So you're picking up something from the past and projecting it to the future. I gave this example because you weren't having anxiety. But if you did, that's what you would do. And you would do that's a pattern interrupt. And then you would stop from spiraling. So let me add a couple of things. So we know from Dr. Jolte Taylor is her name, that emotions only last 90 seconds. Believe it or not, I had a hard time believing it. Yeah. So they last 90 seconds. The reason they're lasting longer is because of the thinking and the thinking and the thinking. So we extend the 90 seconds longer and longer. So for people who have anxiety, or let's say have the right arm situation, the right arm situation, as soon as you get it, there is an unconscious pattern that says, I don't want it, I don't like it, I want it to go away. And they start looping. Obviously, whatever it is that they're doing is getting worse. If they could only, the moment that they feel the bodily sensation, and it didn't take more than 90 seconds to do this part, every time the bodily sensation comes, sooner or later, just by doing that, it wouldn't happen overnight, maybe 3-4 weeks, it will be significantly reduced, and they'll probably get a message where it's coming from. Because you're not allowing, you're listening, you're acknowledging the body. The body is sending you a message and it wants you to hear it. It doesn't have a tongue like we do, so it can't say, I want you to feel this, I want you to let go of that, or whatever it is. So the body is physically showing you what you're actually internally feeling. That's why there's the book, The Body Keeps the Score. The body physically, my paralyzed client, her paralysis is I can't move, but her personal situation is I can't escape, I can't move out of here. It's literally the same.
So we were just tapping on the outside of the hand
here. So this changes the polarity of the body. Now, if we were going to do a full tapping sequence, which we could do 5 minutes to see if this thing goes away from your leg, your calf, we could do that. Then we go through the other body parts. So this we do 3 times, and we usually do we say to the universe or to whatever the reality, even though I have this. Why? Because we don't want to affirm and get more of it, right? So you don't want to say, oh, this pain, because you're going to get more pain. Words are spells. So we start with even though. We do the event. Well, in this case, there was an event, but if they're having anxiety, there is an event. But you do have an event. The event is the sensation. I don't like it, right? And you acknowledge it. If there's an emotion, you put the emotion, and we could just do it a little deeper with your calf. And then we try to put something at the end positive. But when we did the 90 seconds one, I did it very short just to portray someone who's in high anxiety, right? So let's do a round on your, which one is it, the right or the left?
Right.
Okay, so it's a tingling, it's a pulsing.
It's just feels like my calf's just tight and somebody's just grabbing it like that.
Okay.
Just squeezing it.
So feels like, and what is your feeling towards it, or what is the belief about this? Give me both things.
My feeling is that it's annoying and it just won't go away. It's always tight. The story, what do you mean by that?
The belief could be, it could be the sign of something serious, or it's going to get worse, or it's never going to leave. You could have a story.
It's just I always have tight calves, and it's causing issues in my foot as well. I want it to get better, but it just never seems to get better.
Never seems to get better. Okay. So let me just make sure. It was a tightness, right? A pinching, you said? Like a
pinching in the calf, yep.
And you feel annoyed? And it restricts you and you can't get better.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not getting better. I want it to get better, but it's not.
Not getting. Okay, so let's do a round. So measure from 1 to 10 how the intensity is.
It's about a 6.
Okay. Even though. So I want you to be doing two things. I want you to breathe in your belly and put your awareness on it as if you're an observer, like a camera watching this tightness. Okay? So even though there's this tightness, it feels like a pinching on my right calf.
Even though there's a tightness, feels like a pinching on my right calf.
It's annoying.
It's annoying.
I want to do things and it's in the way.
I want to do things and it's in the way.
And I want it to get better, but it doesn't seem to be getting better.
I want it to get better, but it doesn't seem to get better.
I acknowledge this is what I'm feeling.
I acknowledge this is what I'm feeling.
And I'm going to allow this energy to move through me and out of me.
And I'm going to allow this energy to move through me and out of me.
And even though there's this tightness in my right calf.
There's a tightness in my right calf.
It's annoying.
It's annoying.
I help people heal their stuff, and here I am. I have this issue with my right calf.
I help people heal themselves, but I have this issue myself.
And it doesn't seem to be going away.
And it doesn't seem to be going away.
I'm annoyed.
I'm annoyed.
Why doesn't it just leave and leave me alone?
Why doesn't it just leave and leave me alone?
I acknowledge this is what I'm feeling.
I acknowledge this is what I'm feeling.
And it's safe for me to feel this energy and move through me so I can find a place of peace.
And it's safe for this energy to move through me.
So I can find a place.
And I can find a place of peace.
And if this one had a color, what color would it be, that energy there?
This would be maroon, like a purple maroon.
Purple maroon. And even though there's this tightness pinching.
And even though there's this tightness pinching.
It's a maroon color.
It's a maroon color.
And it's in my right calf.
and it's in my right calf.
I don't want to feel anything in my body. It just annoys me.
I don't want to feel anything in my body. It just annoys me.
It prevents me of moving forward in things that I want to do.
It prevents me from moving forwards and doing the things I want to do.
And it's not getting better fast enough.
And it's not getting better fast enough.
And I deeply and completely love and accept all parts of me.
I deeply, sorry again,
And completely
deeply and completely
accept all parts of me, including my right calf.
accept all parts of me, including my right calf.
Top of the head. This maroon purple energy that's annoying.
This maroon purple energy that's annoying.
It's all programming.
It's all programming.
Some message is there.
Some message is there.
And I'm open to hear what it has to say.
And I'm open to hearing what it has to say.
I don't like it. It annoys me.
I don't like it. It annoys me.
And I should be fully pain or symptom free.
I should be fully pain or symptom free.
I mean, that's why people come to me.
And that's why people come to me.
So I should be able to do the same thing for myself.
And I should be able to do the same thing for myself.
By the way, if any word doesn't match, correct me, because I may put stuff that doesn't match. And in the past, I did the best I could given the circumstances.
And in the past, I've given the best considering the circumstances.
And for whatever reason, this hasn't gone away.
And for whatever reason, this hasn't gone away.
It has a message for me.
It has a message for me.
And I'm ready to embrace it.
And I'm ready to embrace it.
I release all emotional attachments
I release all emotional attachments
to my resistance and aversions
and my resistance and aversions
to this purple maroon annoying tight energy in my right calf.
to this purple maroon annoying tightness in my right calf.
And I release all emotional attachments
I release all emotional attachments
to everything and anything
to everything and everything
that has contributed to this purple maroon annoying energy in my right calf.
that has contributed to this annoying purple maroon tightness in my right calf.
Excellent. And I release all emotional attachments.
I release all emotional attachments.
Yes, because the meridians are here. All emotional attachments to all the memories.
All emotional attachments to all the memories
Being annoyed.
of being annoyed.
Having this pinching tightness in my right calf.
Having the pinching tightness in my right calf.
And I send this energy
And I send this energy
back into the past
back into the past,
where it actually took place.
where it actually took place.
I trust my body to remember.
I trust my body to remember.
I trust my breath to release.
I trust my breath to release.
What was held in silence
What was held in silence
now moves in grace.
now moves in grace.
I restore
I restore
the right energy flow and balance
the right energy flow and balance
to my right calf.
to my right calf.
Peace.
Peace.
So one breath of 4-2-6, and then we'll check on the calf. So inhale 4, hold for 2, exhale 6. So check on the calf. Tell me what number it is. I wrote the number before.
Yeah, it was a 6 out of 10. Now maybe a 1.
Okay. So usually when we have longer sessions, there's a memory that appears for chronic conditions. And I'm going to have you do the next step, which is only going to take 90 seconds, but at home you would do longer. Because when we remove patterns, we want to put something else in there, right? We don't want to live a void. So the foot, when you bring it down to 1 is a good, we could always make a round to go down to a 0. But I would need to know more information. But if you want to, we could try it. But now I want you to send it. I want you to go into a happy memory that you have. Feel what you saw then now. Hear what you saw then now. Step into the picture. And maybe a smile comes on your face for having this wonderful experience. Radiate this positive energy around your heart. We'll send it to the audience, fill your body, and then send it to the right calf. And then after you do, I'll just give you the instructions, but you can take your time. I want you to imagine the right calf all clear with no pain or no tingling or tightness, and the joy that you have that it's finally gone once and for all. But I want you to feel that emotion and stay in it, and whenever you're ready afterwards, then you can open your eyes. Let's check with the calf.
It is absolutely crazy how it feels, even compared to the other side, the left side. So my right side feels just loose, like it's just nothing there. And then like my left side's just a little tight from training, but I can literally feel the difference between each side.
So a lot of EFT practitioners only stop at clearing the energy. So when there's trauma, I actually go and rewrite the memory. I do matrix reimprinting is the generic term. I've been trained with someone else. It's called hacking reality. And what that does, it reconsolidates the memory, and then we put the positive emotion, and that you get an updated memory. So I had a lot of trauma growing up, and it seems like it's someone else's life. It's not mine. But a lot of people stop the EFT there. And so we have a few extra tools that we can use that. Now, I want to bring it back to people who have, your clients don't have anxiety, they mostly have physical issues, correct?
I'd say a few of them have a little bit of anxiety for sure.
So for both physical, because we did a demonstration on the physical, so I didn't do a full rewrite, but we just tested it, right? I had you transmit a higher frequency that you self-generated to the calf, and then you did a 2-minute or 60-second visualization that it's whole. That is what actually going to rewire the body for healing. So we don't just interrupt the pattern. We did the interrupt before. We did the breath. We acknowledged it, and we did around the quick tap, and then we do the rewrite here. That's the whole sequence to get out of it. But this can be done for the people who have working on the computer, and I'm sure in their head goes, my hand hurts or my elbow hurts, and I'm stuck in front of the screen. I wish I were home and doing something. I just can't stand. Why does the shoulder, just whatever it is, respond to me? Well, that verbal language accumulates more lower frequency. And if they could just do the short version we did with this reconsolidation of an updated memory, I mark my words, 3 to 6 weeks later, they will have significant reduction because they're interrupting that pattern going in.
And it makes perfect sense. It's like you said, emotions only last 90 seconds. So you're just ruminating and ruminating and ruminating and breaking that and then putting something else in there that would give you a different emotion, obviously a positive one, is just going to completely change your mood, your relationship with that shoulder or elbow, whatever it is. Can we talk about anxiety a little bit more? And
yes. So anxiety, most people think it's a condition. And anxiety is number one, programs running of an older version of you. When you were younger, you don't know how to protect yourself or whatever it is, and taking your past and projecting it to the future. It's basically taking the situation that you're having right now based on your past experience, projecting in the future. And most people, when we enter that state, number one, we activated the sympathetic nervous system. And when you're in the sympathetic nervous system activated, your frontal lobe shuts down. So clear thinking is not there. That's why smart people do dumb things when they're anxious. They make the wrong decisions. Number two, you're going to predict the worst case scenario. So you start ruminating on the worst case scenario and disasters happen. So take my personal experience. The physical pain plus what they told me, automatically when they told me you're not going to live right then and there, like you have hours, I was unprepared for this, put me in a high beta stress role. My frontal lobe, even though I knew they were wrong, I couldn't speak my truth because my frontal lobe was shut off. So I made the wrong decision even though I absolutely knew they were wrong, and after the surgery it turned out they were absolutely wrong. So that is the first, and that's why we want to do the pattern interrupt, because it could be a serious situation that you're anxious on and you don't have all your resources. Number two, if you ruminate on the anxiety, now you're going to create a disaster.
Yep.
So
how do we catch ourselves? So being aware of these situations is very hard because, like you said, in those situations, it's almost like your brain just shuts off and you're just following some sort of instinct that's been programmed throughout your life. How do we catch ourselves in those moments to break those patterns and not be so...
It's these old principles that always existed, but we don't take them seriously. So I did two things with you in the beginning. And in those days, I didn't believe it. But now I have enough knowledge, and I know I have people who heal their headaches just with these methods by themselves. So the first thing I have them do is the breath. Now, and I tailor it depending on the time. You just need maximum to do the pattern interrupt, roughly 90 seconds maximum to 2 minutes, right? That's all you need. So the first thing you do is when there's a situation and you notice the arousal, do a sequence of a 4, 2, 6. You could do 8 if you want. The longer the exhale, it calms the body. It's like a signal sending the body that the danger is going down. So the breath is key. But have you ever seen someone who has a panic attack? They breathe like this. Okay, so the breath is essential, but the breath has to be in the belly. And most people skip the fact that it has to be deep inside the belly. So if you do 3 breaths, in this case we did 2 and worked fine with you, we did 2. So 2 or 3. If you have enough time, quickly go to a happy memory. Now, if you're very anxious, you can't do that very easy. But if you can, as practice goes down, you have one memory that you keep it in your back pocket that you know always makes you happy. I have clients pick one, like I have one for me. It always makes me happy. No matter what it is, I'm going to get there. So if you can do that, that's fine. Just 30 seconds of that. Now go to where the issue is. Not out there, where it's here. So you're going to put your awareness, you're going to breathe into it. The hard part is keeping the commentary out, meaning the story that the mind is going to say. But if you know that you're going to do this exercise for 2 minutes, and you tell yourself, I'm only going to do this for 2 minutes, then you do that. With a little practice, if you practice this thing with your ankle or whatever, your calf, whatever it is, you will actually get your body talking back to you. It's actually you're gonna hear something in your head, not, a real voice speaking to you. So, and then you start tapping. For anxiety, the best thing you could do, even though I'm feeling this or I don't know what to do, I am safe right now, and my breath is my safety. Do 2 rounds like this. Don't even go through the body parts. You've done your pattern interrupt. Now, if you're worried about a bad result happening, now take 2 minutes or a minute and just see it's resolved. That's all you need to do. I know, because I did that on Monday. I got stranded traveling, and I got bumped off 3 flights. And the next available flight was 8 o'clock at night. I had been at the airport at 6 a.m. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go to the gate. I'm going to be calm. I cleared my anxiety, my anger. And they were closing the door. There were no seats. They called me. I got on. So I got on the 3 o'clock versus the 8 o'clock. So I saved myself 5 hours.
And I like that idea of just the breath, like catching your breath. And it's what a lot of people don't realize, because you can do that in a crowded area or in a meeting, anywhere. No one's going to know, because you're just breathing into your belly, and it can just reduce, just 3-4 breaths can just reduce your anxiety massively and just connect you to your body and be able to do whatever you're trying to get done.
Yes. Just to give so we have 2 modes of living. We have survival mode, and we have creation mode. And usually in creation, we have the rest and repair. And these modes depend on your brain waves. So there's never here. So we have alpha, beta, theta, and delta. So most people, like right now, we're in regular beta. When they do hypnosis, you enter alpha or theta. That's when you enter the subconscious mind for programming. And at theta and delta, healing can start taking place. So if you know that your state of being is what's going to create the healing, and these breaths are just simple tools that actually can shift you to the brain waves. Imagine it's a tuner. The slow breathing is going to change you from beta brain waves to alpha, and then if you're very good at it. In the beginning you enter alpha, but then with practice you enter theta and delta. And we also naturally do it twice a day, when we go to bed at night and when we wake up in the morning. So if you learn how to do this naturally, you can catch these patterns. And you brought a question on anxiety. So now we know from research that anxiety does not happen when a person who has a panic attack. It doesn't happen the moment has the panic attack. It happens an hour before, but they were disconnected from their body. So for a long time, I didn't want to breathe in my belly, and I thought it was ridiculous. Every time I breathe slowly in my belly, like I try to catch myself throughout the day, I now can pick up the sensations as they're coming up. So like if my anger is building up, I know that, I'm aware of it. And if you can do the cleanup as it comes up, you will not have an extreme situation in your life. Now, EFT is superb for panic attacks and anxiety. And if you're young, like your age group, you can heal it very fast. Not a lot of sessions.
There's a lot of different directions I want to take this into now. So the creation mode. It's something I've been struggling with a lot lately. Like just getting, I guess, getting out of that fight or flight mode. Sometimes I get too caught up in work, life, all that sort of stuff. Getting into the creation mode at the moment is very hard. And then even staying there. So any ideas, I guess, I'll probably answer my own questions, but the breath, EFT tapping, all that sort of stuff, is that going to help me get into that creation mode during the day?
Yes, but we have to identify the triggers. So we need to know what the trigger is to get rid of it. So just doing the breathing will help you interrupt the pattern, and doing the replacement, you're pruning the synaptic connections. But somehow you were programmed to be that way, the same way I'm programmed to be that way. And most of our programming has come from childhood. So we have an event, there's something that triggers us out there. Remember I said to you, there's the bodily sensation, there's the emotion, and then there's the story that goes, the looping that happens, and then we have the automatic reaction. And that happens automatically. Why? Because when you were young, something happened, that happened, and the body creates a shortcut, and it's like a broken record. Every time you have a similar emotion in the outer world, like default, it's like you're automated. It's like it turns on, it's like you programmed your stove to turn on, or your coffee pot to turn on 6 o'clock. So all you need is a stimulus and a response, an image and an emotion, and that program gets activated. And if it's a traumatic memory, it runs in the hippocampus. So I'm assuming here it's not a highly traumatic event that you have, but it could be both. So the first thing you want to do is try to observe in your environment, what is the trigger? So what is the trigger happening in your environment? Number 2, you need to be aware and forgiving to yourself that if your default mode, my default mode was anger, I've been addicted to anger because all I was producing all these years was anger and anger. Remember, I said earlier, every time you have a thought and emotion, chemistry, actually, when there's the emotion, chemistry is produced. And we know from the second law of thermodynamics, energy can never be created or destroyed, it can only be transmuted. So I was defaulted to anger. That's why when people say to me, out of sight, out of mind, it's not true. It's always running in the background. You always have that knot in the stomach when you see that person you dislike. Why? Because you have it stored in your stomach. So we need to clear, we need to uproot the situation. I'll give you a perfect example of a client, a high-end executive. Every time she would go to board meetings, like serious board meetings, she would get super anxious. And even though she had prepared everything to perfection, last minute she would freeze, not perform. Turns out 50 years prior to that, at some job, when she went to a board meeting, she got criticized and humiliated. And so her body knows, every time I get those tough questions, here we're gonna go again. So she gets the freeze response. So once we found out what the memory was, within 6 weeks, 6 sessions, roughly 6 weeks, 6 sessions, we removed the pattern. She released the prior experience, the humiliation and whatever. We replaced it. So her original belief is board meetings are going to be challenging. I could be humiliated. Now she goes in and she feels is an opportunity and it doesn't bother. But here's the part where people forget. She used to prepare to perfection, but still freeze. So you cannot fix a nervous system problem with your mind. That's where people get the disconnect. They try to fix this with the mind. You have to go and feel this to release the energy, put the new thing. Obviously, of course, you're going to have to prepare for your board meeting. But now she doesn't feel. So it's an opportunity. I could chew these people up alive. I know my numbers.
That's unreal. And as you were talking about it, I was squirming in my chair a little bit because I was picking up on like where I guess when I'm trying to get into that creative zone, why I don't. And it's because I was always, I guess, conditioned to be busy. If you're busy, you're successful and you're moving forwards. I was having this conversation with a guest the other day and it just sort of clicked. At the moment, I'm getting into a point where I'm extremely happy just being in my life. Like my life is amazing and I get happy and I just sit back and relax and it's amazing. But then I almost get pulled out because I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything. I'm not driving towards anything. I haven't got these goals. I'm like hustling. So it's sort of just a weird thing that keeps getting like pulls me out and then back in. And I think recently I've just been pulled out and I haven't been able to get back into that zone of, oh yeah, this is amazing. Life is awesome. So yeah, I've got a little bit of work to do. So thank you.
You're welcome. But here's where you can go. You can go back to that old memory. It's one of your two parents or whoever was told you that. And you probably were criticized for not being busy maybe once or twice and release that energy, right? And then you install the new belief. Some of the wealthiest people are not that busy. They've learned how to be in the flow. And it is a collective belief that if you're not busy, you're not successful. But that is not a true belief. We bought a collective belief.
Yeah, 100%. And I find that with my finances as well. When I am just flowing and just in the state of just creating and being me, my finances are great, but I'm not that busy. But then when I get super busy and I'm trying to hustle and do all this sort of stuff, I'm like, what's going on? I'm so busy. I should be making all this money, but it just doesn't flow.
So now you know. So clear the memory. Go into the body where it's stored. So every experience somewhere in here is stored. Clear it from the body, just the same way. Do a tapping sequence, whatever, and then replace it with a new belief and visualize your abundance flowing without being busy and you being at the beach when your summer comes, or skiing if you want in the winter, whatever you do in the winter.
Would love to be doing that. That's the plan this year. I was having this conversation the other day with a friend about, I don't know how to put this, not scare everybody off, but I think this is a positive. The world's going through a massive change, like technology is going we're having a lot of different changes with technology that can benefit humanity, I do believe. But a lot of people are getting caught up in that, where do I fit in there, and feel lost, I guess you could say. So let's just say people are going through this journey. They're finding themselves getting into that creative zone. But just what's the next step, I guess, would be, I don't know if that's a good question or not, but because we just talked about hustle and you don't have to hustle and go into the next step.
I need to grasp the question a little more.
Yeah, so I guess there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment with people's jobs, life, all that sort of stuff, where we're going to be in the future. How can we get people to, I guess, find their true form and live a life true to them? So if people are going through this journey of EFT tapping, like yourself, finding different methods that work for them, what should we be, what's the end goal here? What should we be aiming for?
Well, having come, I can speak for myself, having come for the corporate world, I wanted to be in healing and health, which I still am, but that one was very draining. But I had limited knowledge at the time. I thought the only path was that, right? If you wanted, you had to work the corporate job. And it came a point when I realized I didn't heal from that system, and I believed in that system because my degrees are in that system, and it failed me. I had two choices. I could go back in it and suck it up, but something in it wasn't sitting well with me. I can't be someone who promotes healing knowing that the system doesn't work. So obviously I had to do a choice. I did not know what to do, and I explored. Well, I was doing EFT first for myself, and then it aligned for me. Now, not everybody's going to become an EFT practitioner, but I ended up fulfilling my desire. It's a healing modality. Now, a lot of people find things that they do. The best approach is, since you brought also AI, explore what your talents are and use the AI, artificial intelligence, to ask you questions so you can figure out what type of work do I want to do and modify, because certain jobs will get obsolete whether we like it or not. And embrace AI. In the beginning, we're terrified of it, thinking it's going to take over. Like when the Industrial Revolution, a lot of people were out of jobs. But the smart people, and I'm not calling people dumb, but the people who knew these principles in the past knew that everything is an opportunity. And a lot of them became very wealthy by not falling into fear. So if you fall into fear, remember your frontal lobe is going to shut down. Options and creative ideas are going to disappear. The fear in the body, which we did not discuss, we didn't discuss how reality gets created. So reality gets created with your thoughts, emotions, actions, and deeds. Your body actually transmits. That's why, have you ever had a bad day and you can't get out of it and everything is a disaster? Because you didn't get out of the state. So the thought sends the signal out, the emotion draws back the experience to you. So in Joe's work, Dr. Joe's work, we say your personality, how you think, act, and feel, creates your personal reality called your life. So if you want to change the out there, your personal reality, you have to change your personality, which means how I think, act, and feel. So to put it back to the question you asked, if the person who is feeling this uncertainty is going into fear, I'm not predicting, but most likely will attract a very negative reality. And if we can find a way to not allow that energy to flow through us, you're going to create something better. A perfect example was during the pandemic. While it was very hard for me in New York, I didn't have any fear, so nothing happened to me. Nothing happened to me. I had enough medical knowledge how to navigate. I didn't care. I had no fear whatsoever. I navigated. Nothing absolutely happened. Never got sick. Went around people. Did whatever I did. I don't want to discuss more details on that, but nothing absolutely happened. I didn't do weird stuff, protection, nothing. I was absolutely fine. And at the time I was still with my physical symptoms. That's when I was actually healing.
Wow.
And I chose not to go into fear because I knew if I went into fear, I wasn't going to heal my other ailments.
So think, act, and feel. You touched on desire. I'd like to discuss how desire or ego fits into that. So how do we know the difference between when ego is driving those think, act, and feel, or desire?
Okay. Usually in the ego base, so it's not the word desire, it's the ego desire. So the ego desire, it is always for your own benefit. So if you can say, you can ask yourself some questions. Like, let's say I'm asking, why do you want to become an EFT practitioner? Well, because I like helping people. Why do I like helping people? What for? Because it gives me joy. And what else would I like EFT? Well, it's going to bring me an income, which is fine. But I keep on asking the what for. If the what fors are only self-motivated without including anything else, and there's no joy in it, you definitely know it's ego-driven. In my case, it's a balanced one. The ego never fully gets out of it because you need to take care of yourself. But I enjoy helping people heal. I want to share this thing. I'm sure that's why you're doing what you're doing. If you didn't want to, you would have probably been in a corporate job.
Yep.
So, the lawyer who's thinking, and they could be very good lawyers, but the one who's helping, oh, it's just going to bring me money, bring me money, bring me money, that's when it's which is why certain professions have gotten very corrupt. Medicine did not start that way. It has ended up a different way. It started with an oath to help and heal the other person. So that's when you know what it is. And it's how we think, act, and feel, but we start with intention. There's an intention, then there's the desire. Okay, my intention is I want to feel better. I want to there's nothing wrong with feeling better. But if you say my intention is to rip people off, well, now we know that is not
Yeah, I see that all the time at the moment. Again, like you said, people are reaching out to or using AI to discover what they can do and all that sort of stuff, and then they see the money they could make, and then they're excited by the money rather than what they actually want to do. So yeah, it's very interesting to see that, because then you catch up that person a month or two later and they're not doing that thing anymore because it was too hard, but I'm just like, well, that wasn't actually what you wanted to do. Like, you got to find what you want to do and use AI as a tool to create
correct.
that. Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
And you brought the word uncertainty. So we have been programmed to believe that the unknown is a very dangerous place. And then there's a second issue that shows up. The mind is a predictive machine. So it always wants to predict the next experience. And then because we were programmed that way, if we don't do that, then we get very anxious. But if we were planning our state of being, that unknown experience could actually turn out to be a good experience if we knew how to navigate, and we go back to self-control and master our emotions. If we can self-regulate and you're in a happy state, you cannot really attract a complete disaster.
That's such a good point. Like, to my left here, I've got a whiteboard, and I write different thoughts up on the whiteboard. And when people come over, they just like pick on me for the thoughts, or not. We have open discussions about whether they're right or wrong, or just people's opinions on it. And one of them's about certainty or uncertainty and happiness. And I always thought you had to be certain to be happy. Like, you need to have you need to be, I guess, in control of, I don't know, you had to be certain of, you're in a stable job, this, that, and then you can be happy in that job. But I'm starting to realize exactly what you just said. You've just got to be in the flow and be happy with whatever comes, and you can't be certain of anything, really.
Correct. How many people had the greatest jobs and something happens, and either a health all of a sudden, or the plant closed down and they lost their job? So, but when you're in a happy state, you're going to attract better experiences, because again, your thoughts, emotions, actions, and deeds is what attracts the experiences to you.
Can we break those three down? How do we, let's go. So it's thoughts, actions, and emotions.
Dr. Joe's formula is how you think, act, and feel. And so it's your thoughts, how you act, and how you feel, right? So actions and deeds would fall under act. So let's say I wake up this morning and I have to do something. And then all of a sudden you got the knot in your stomach and you feel tired. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to put it on for tomorrow. Well, that's going to keep on continuing till you actually stop that pattern. But what's going to happen, that thing will never get done. You're going to end up beating yourself up, and you're going to end up being miserable. But now let's say you woke up and you don't want to do that thing. And you say, no, I'm the one who's creating, my state of being is going to change this thing. Well, I don't feel like doing it. I choose, I'm going to think differently. Yeah, I know I don't feel like doing it, but I'm going to do part of it today. And when you do part of it today, you end up being happy. And then little by little, you're building results. So it's the whole package. Now, some people, the very motivated people, wake up, I'm going to do it no matter what. I'm looking forward to doing. And then they're like, you have those happy-go-lucky people, and their life flows. I wasn't one of them, so I have to do my pattern interrupts. I wake up and I don't feel like doing it. So, you know, when my disaster on Monday happened midday, I said, no, I'm going to step back. I did my tapping, I did a meditation. I said, I'm going to find a way. There has to be a way I can get out of here. Because I already had missed my connecting flight, but I needed to get out of New York. I said, there has to be, and here it is, voila, like magic. I didn't even believe it was going to happen. I didn't even know how it was going to happen. And it saved me another 6 hours being at the airport.
Well, let's use health and fitness, for example, obviously, because I'm in that space. So like I said at the start, before we hit record, this podcast started off as a resource for my clients. I'd record a episode on fat loss, and when people had questions, I'd say, go listen to this 30-minute talk of me about fat loss. And people just wouldn't use it. So it's more about getting them to, you know, think and then act, and trying to get them to do those consistent things so they become that person they want to be. So it's not necessarily about information. It's about the purpose, the want, the need, the thoughts, thinking that they want to do it. So where I'm going with this is, a lot of people get motivated. They think they want to be a healthy, fit person. They get excited. They start doing and acting like it. But then I guess the emotion's not there, and that's why they don't stick with it. Would that be?
There's a secondary belief that is there that are not aware. So let's backtrack. So you have two minds. You have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. When the conscious and subconscious are in conflict, the subconscious is always the victor. Why? Your conscious mind is 5%. Your subconscious mind is 95%. And that's where your beliefs and subconscious emotions are all stored. They're called subconscious because you're not aware, right? So imagine you, a 5%, trying to push a 95% big stone. You're not going to win, okay? So that's number one. So the person is motivated to go and lose weight. Let's say you want to pick diet. What do you want to do, exercise or diet?
We'll go exercise.
Okay. And then all of a sudden, the body gives them a signal. Either they're tired, or maybe they don't feel good enough that they won't succeed. But they're not aware what it is. So the moment they decide, I'm going to go to the gym, their frequency drops because they're unaware of it, and now they lose their motivation to go to the gym or whatever it is to do. Why? Because we'll go back to what it was before. There was a bodily sensation that happened very fast that created an emotion, and now they create a story. Oh, I won't have time today. Oh, something else came up. Oh, I'm tired today. And then they didn't keep their words to themselves. That got stored. So the next time they go, now we have added fuel. Yesterday you didn't keep your word to yourself. So unless they can find a way to overcome the bodily sensation, what the body is saying, you're never going to win. And they believe what the body says, that it's literal. And that's one thing. Oh, people say to me, oh, my body feels tired. No, that is a software program. If you slept your normal hours and you ate your normal thing, your body is not tired. But your body will make you tired because the body has information based on the past. So it doesn't have your new energized style that you were programmed. Oh, I'm in the gym and I'm happy and I'm this and I'm that. So it has nothing to look forward. For the body, this is a new experience. And the body doesn't like new experiences. Remember, we started, the body doesn't like the unknown. So you're not going to get them to go. Now, for the people who are on a diet or wanting to lose weight, number one, food is an emotional clutch. And people who are overweight unconsciously put their weight because they feel shielded from their emotions and they want to protect themselves unconsciously from the outer world. So if you ask someone to lose weight, the moment they stopped eating, those emotions are going to start coming up. And if they don't know how to process their emotions, they're instantaneously going to go to eating. You probably have seen, or you may have caught yourself, sometimes you feel tired or you're aggravated and the first thing you just want something to eat.
Yep.
Right? And how do I know that? Because I've done fasting and I saw how crazy my mind has gone when I've fasted. So food is an emotional shielding. So, and there's one more added thing for people losing weight. You probably know it, but if you don't, people who are highly stressed are not going to lose easily weight because the sympathetic nervous system has been activated, and that is the survival system that the body has. In the old days, when we didn't have food, the body learned how to store it. So what happens is people who do EFT naturally, especially the emotion of anger and fear, has gotten under control, they will naturally start losing weight because now they're not in sympathetic mode anymore.
Yeah, that comes up on the podcast all the time, and I try and tell people as much as possible. If you're stressed, like it's just not going to work. Not just fat loss, it's just everything. Your life is just going to be that just out of whack, and you can't do the things you want. You're not going to get the things you want. So yeah.
So going to the
agree.
gym person or the one who wants to work out, they should just connect with their body and then check what it is that they're feeling. They were motivated to go 15 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago, and now for whatever reason they are dreading it. So that means another program is running in the background.
Yeah, it's one of those hard things. So as a coach, I really try and make it a positive experience for people in the gym so they get excited about it to break that cycle. But yeah, as soon as I sort of disappear or that excitement goes, they disappear as well and they don't go to the gym. Yeah.
The body has to be engaged. You know, Tony Robbins is very big on this. In order to be successful, he actually uses his body jumping up and down, moving around every 10 and 15 minutes to raise his frequency. I haven't done it often, but I do know from an EFT and neuroscience point of view, it works very well. And that's how he stays with basically no sleep. He's always high strung, high energy, and most of the time in a positive state.
A little thing you can do that's similar is just on your feet, just come up and down on your toes, like you're bouncing on your toes, and just slowly breathe as you're doing that. If you do that for 60 seconds, like it just completely changes your whole nervous system. So you see, I do it in the gym all the time before I get started or in between sets, and people look at me like I'm a weirdo, but it feels so good and it gives you a lot of energy. And it just connects your mind to your body. Like it's just like your nervous system just lets go, and your mind can just, it's a good feeling. So give that a go.
I will. Thank you for the tip. I appreciate it.
No worries. Before we've been going for a little while here. So is there anything else that you wanted to mention before we wrap up that people should know about?
You have people with physical symptoms, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How far-fetched can we go?
As far as you want.
Okay, so one thing that can help, are these chronic physical ailments that people have?
A lot of people tend to have, I'd say so. A lot of pain in a certain body joint that just won't go away. There's no reason why that pain is there, but it's just always there.
Okay, so let me address it from two different angles. So, first of all, there is what we call metaconsciousness or German new medicine that gives you the biological track for every physical symptom. Because why? The body is a computer. And just like in the car, you get an error code. And a lot of our traumas and physical symptoms we've either have from early childhood that are showing up now because the body can take so much, or it could be coming from a parallel timeline. So that's the generic umbrella. But let's assume you have this ailment, this physical symptom that's not going away. The first thing that happens to people, especially if it's chronic, they believe, there's a belief, because it's been 30 years, it's not going to go away. That's very common. Or if the doctor tells you it's not curable. Those are two beliefs that have to be cleared. But now let's talk about reality. You're never healing this physical body. What you're actually doing, I wanted to keep this for the end, when you change your personality, how you think, act, and feel, you're moving to a parallel timeline where your body is a different vibration. When I got that concept, that gave me hope, because I was told I had an incurable condition, and the fact that I had it 16 years, I thought there was no healing possible. So you're not physically healing this body, you're shifting to a parallel timeline. And that, if you embrace that, it is a very empowering feeling to know. And that's how miracles actually happen. When you see the miracle, something internally changed in that person, and then they're magically whole. Because there's some people who heal in an instant. Mine wasn't, but I've seen people walk out of wheelchairs. I physically have seen that.
That, I understand that, but it just doesn't make sense to me. I guess I have a little bit of work to do.
There's many yous. And just like a TV that has many stations, your frequency, which is your thoughts, actions, emotions, and deeds, creates a signature for you, a frequency for you. So if you have all these belief systems and you're in this low vibration, it's going to take a lot of work. It doesn't mean you can't heal this body, but it's going to take enormous amount of work to heal. And since all realities exist in the now, because there is no time, they're just not active. You know, they're not physically, just like in the multiverse movies by Marvel, there's many yous. And there's a reality where your right shoulder doesn't hurt. And if you change your internal state, and that's actually indirectly what EFT is doing, you're changing your internal state constantly to become someone different, so you align to the reality where the problem doesn't exist. That's what you're physically doing.
So that just takes a lot of practice, understanding yourself, understanding the world, and being aligned with who you are or who you want to be?
Yes, you have to be in the state of being who you want to be, but the sad part is most people try to get there with the mind, and the fastest way to get there is with the body. It's the self-regulation. I try to do it with the mind and it doesn't work, and I still try to do it with the mind because that's my default, but it actually doesn't work. The mind never gets you there, because remember, I said the body is the physical antenna that is attracting the experiences. The thought, which is the mind, sends the signal. It's just a signal. But the antenna, it's like in the old days, the TVs had two antennas, two rabbit ears above. You could turn on the TV, the signal, but unless you had the rabbit ears, there was nothing coming in. So the body is actually the physical antenna. It's actually your nervous system, to be exact, to need to bring in the healing. And all the modalities, and including these law of attractions, they don't give you the full steps and the importance of the emotion, but you also have to remove the negative emotion. You can't just go to the positive emotion. First, you have to clear the negative emotion. It's like you want to put stuff in the refrigerator, but you have spoiled food. Well, the rest of it is going to go spoiled. So you have to empty the refrigerator and then put your food in. So you have to empty the old signal in the body, which is I can't heal, I'm not good enough, I'm angry, I'm fuming, and then put the correct signal, and it comes. That's why I gave you for the calf to visualize for a couple of minutes what it was. That's when you notice the difference. You didn't really notice the big difference from the tapping. I mean, the tapping helped, but the big difference is when you did the replacement.
Yeah. And I love your analogy about the TV antennas as well. That made perfect sense. But like you said, a lot of the things out there, like manifesting, all that sort of stuff, they're just not painting the full picture. And I appreciate how you do putting that. Like, it's all well and good to get in that happy state, but like you said, and I've found it myself, you just go into those, back into those old habits, and you lose that energy, or my calf gets tight, whatever, and replacing that with good energy, thoughts, happy memories, all that sort of stuff. It just makes perfect sense. And so, yeah, I appreciate how you've stepped that out, and it makes perfect sense to me. So it's something I think I've been missing in my practices as well.
Yes, and I'll just rephrase it for your audience. It's like baking a piece of bread, right? You don't put the water with no flour and just put the water and maybe some baking soda and then put it in the oven and put the flour afterwards, right? The bread's not going to rise. And that's why we have to follow the steps. And I find it sad because I did start with the law of attraction, and I ended up beating myself up because I was trying and it wasn't working. I ended up thinking I was dumb. There's something wrong with me because it's working for everybody else, yet it wasn't working for me. And, you don't get a dirty pan to bake your bread, whatever. You clean it up, and then you follow the process with the tea. You put the ingredient and you can't change the order. So a lot of people try to change the order, and it doesn't work. Why? Because we have to work with the body as the nervous system. It's like fixing a computer. You can't just put the memory without a motherboard or whatever it is you're doing. You have to follow a sequence, or when you install a piece of software, right? You have to put the disk in or download the software, whatever it is. But you have to remove the old software. Let's say the antivirus. If you have antivirus and some of them comes preloaded, you buy the new antivirus, tells you need to remove the old one. You can't install 2 antiviruses at the same time. And that's what we're doing. We need to remove the old emotion, the old belief. But we have to get you at a good state, which is why I started you with the breath. I started you with a 4-2-6. So the body gets the signal, okay, slow your horses down. We're going to do something different now.
I think that's why a lot of people do try the manifesting, even like breath work, meditation, all that sort of stuff, and they go, oh, it didn't work for me. It's because they're not following the proper recipe or the proper steps. So where can people find more about you and work with you to follow the proper steps?
Sure. They can come to my website, tapintoyourbestself.com, and they can find me in social media with the same handle, Tap Into Your Best Self. And I offer a complimentary 30-minute session. I can explore what helps for them. Maybe something else works for them. And I also do offer a group EFT if they want a group experience. And I also teach Dr. Joe's course, Change Your Mind, Create New Results, which is a neuroscience-based course. And I think those two create miracles in people's life because I think you need the science and you need to regulate yourself.
100% agree. Sophia, thanks for coming on the podcast. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
A big thanks to Lumaflex for sponsoring today's episode. Make sure you check out the link in the description or go to lumaflex.com.au. Use the code TRUEFORM to get 10% off and start enjoying this amazing red light therapy device. You'll not only be supporting your own overall health and wellness, you're supporting this show as well. So I appreciate you doing that. Appreciate your time listening to this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.